Good evening, everyone. We're going to start off the service tonight by singing hymn number 439, Work for the Night is Coming. We'll sing all three verses there, and let's stand to sing.
Say a warm word of welcome to each one here this evening at Bethel Baptist Church. Just by way of announcements, our missionary of the week this week is Aaron and Rachel Houts. They are our missionaries serving in Alaska. And so let's be praying for them as they're getting settled in up in Alaska, as they're working towards purchasing some land and just getting settled there with their ministry team. They are going to be one of our three special missions prayer requests tonight when we get to our missions prayer time. And those are some of the things that we're going to be praying for them during that time. Other announcements for today. Today we did start into our first session of our new fourth quarter adult Sunday school class. And things went very well. Very good lesson on salvation. And so I would just encourage you, maybe you have not been participating in Sunday school over the last quarters or however long. We would just encourage you to get plugged in and join us for that time. It is going to be a good series. I'm very much looking forward to the remainder of it. I know that you will profit from it spiritually as well. Other announcements. Tonight is our Week 1 Missions and Evangelism service, and so we are watching sessions 5 and 13 of the Right Around the World Missions video series. And Jim and Myra Wright, they are such characters, I guess you could say. They're just very good as they put these missions videos together for us, and so we're thankful for that. I think these are actually the last of the videos in the series that we haven't watched yet. One of them is on snakes and spiders on the mission field, and then the other one is on missionary partnership. He's going to be interviewing a guy named Ben Sinclair who wrote a book on missionary partnership between churches and between missionaries. And so both of those are very interesting topics. We'll have some good discussion afterwards, so just encourage you to take some good notes during those videos. And then we do also just want to remind our church board that we'll meet after the evening service here tonight as well. Do also just want to remind folks there's a paper on the back table explaining a proposed constitutional amendment for the Bethel Baptist Constitution, and we're going to be discussing that at the church business meeting on October the 20th. The church board is recommending to the church family that we change the number of active members required for a quorum at a church business meeting from 20 active members to 40% of the active members. And so we do have a paper on the back table. You can read all about that, and that'll happen at the meeting on October the 20th. Other upcoming events this Tuesday the 8th is the Bethel Ladies Christmas Dinner at 6 p.m. in Fellowship Hall. You'll be doing your secret sister reveal, and the theme is going to be Joy in Bloom. Please do see the sign-up sheet on the bulletin board for food and that kind of thing. And then do stay tuned for some details on the Ladies Mini Christmas Festival on December 2nd at 6 p.m. Also, we want to just invite out all of the adults of Bethel to the Anchor Bible Fellowship. That's this Friday at 5 p.m. at the Rainiers, and we're going to be having a hot dog roast. Again, all adults are invited to join this month, and please see the sign-up sheet on the bulletin board for food, and the word for the month is the word hope. And then we do also just want to remind our nominating committee members that we'll have that nominating committee meeting after the AM service next Sunday. Well, that is all of our announcements for today.
We're going to sing one more hymn on page 218. Burdens are lifted at Calvary, and we'll sing all the verses there at hymn 218. Let's stand to sing one more time tonight.
Special music tonight, is that right? Okay, perfect. Okay, well, did everybody get a missions prayer sheet on your way in here tonight? Okay, looks like most of you did. Okay, good. As we mentioned already, this is our week 1 missions and evangelism service, and tonight we're finishing off, at least as far as I have been able to tell, the right around the world missionary videos. And the first one is on snakes and spiders and how you encounter them on the mission field. But you know what? You encounter snakes and spiders everywhere, and that's kind of what they're going to say to us here tonight. So take good notes, and we'll discuss that when we're done.
Hi, we're Jim and Myra Wright.
Welcome to Right Around the World.
Let's talk missions.
Jim and Myra.
And we want to talk about something that, as we have talked to missionaries, apparently is a fear in some people's minds, and it's for some people, reasons why they don't want to go to the mission field, something they have to struggle with.
And that would be fear of animals,
Yeah, scary things.
critters.
Oh, think of a country that has dangerous animals like sharks, bears, mountain lions,
And snake.
and spiders,
Or
scorpions.
maybe crocodile.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. That's the
Oh,
United
that's here.
States. Yeah. Hey, we have scary animals here too.
Yep.
How do we deal with that? Well, we know about where those animals are, and we don't go there. And
But
we-
it's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
What might cross my path? What might be in my house?
Yeah. So we thought we would talk about this today. Is this something that should keep you off of the mission field? No. All right.
Now, I have a lot of missionary friends. We have a lot of missionary friends. And I asked my ladies, well, how do you deal with it and what do you have in your country? And we thought it would be fun to share those with you today.
Yeah. So here are some pictures. We'll talk you through them of
Some real interesting critters.
critters from around the world.
So, guess what you can find in your laundry if you live in Mexico?
Nasty scorpions. I'll tell you more about those later.
Crocodiles and iguanas
Is it caiman or alligator? We're not sure.
in
but,
Mexico once again. And
Ooh, David, get rid of it.
snakes
Let go.
in almost every country,
Yeah.
except for maybe Alaska.
Yeah,
Then Africa.
that is a big spider.
It's
It's like 2 inches
Ratty.
front to back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Nasty.
And then these monkeys, not so bad, just taking things off of your picnic table, but playing,
That close to your kids?
yeah, really.
Not good.
And bats.
Yeah,
Poor little
those-
Emily, she found this one morning and had to take care of it.
Ooh,
A water scorpion.
yeah. Swimming
Never
around.
Heard of them.
Not sure want to be.
And then,
ooh, ooh, ooh.
I can't stand them.
Yeah. Well, let's turn the page here.
Anyway, we thought we would tell you a little bit about how this happened in our lives. For some reason, people like to hear that. For me, it was never really an issue. I had grown up on the Mississippi going down and, hunting snakes and tadpoles and frogs and all that type of thing. The animals didn't frighten me. We had rattlers and cottonmouth and water moccasins and that type of thing on the river. And so I had to deal with that. I was out in California once, and I was going after what I thought was a little crab, and I scooped it up, and I showed it to my mom, and it turns out it was probably one of the most dangerous scorpions known to man, and I had it there in a glass jar. So that wasn't a fear for me, even though at times it should have been a fear
But
for me.
he's a guy. I grew up listening to missionaries come back from their field. One in particular rolled out a huge, long skin of a snake, and that's all it took. I just said, nope, ain't happening. I am not going to the mission field, and especially not Brazil, South America, Africa. There are snakes there. Little did I know, I was growing up in Atlanta, Georgia, and in the forest behind our house where I tromped all the time, there were all sorts of horrible dangers. But I never thought about it.
Yeah.
Because it was...
So it was our third replacement, and God had assigned us to go to the mountains of Cameroon for 8 months. And we knew this while we were on deputation.
So while we're on deputation, I begged every group of ladies that I talked to, every church, please pray for me. I just can't handle snakes. I just can't handle snakes. And you know what the Lord did? I never saw one live snake the entire 8 months we were there. Now I did see them on poles for food. For the what? And
Yeah.
you saw
I was
one.
driving once with a bunch of friends from Africa in the back seat, and we're driving along. I see a snake, and so I hate snakes. So I actually drove into the ditch to kill the snake. And as I was pulling up out of the ditch, they were in the back saying, "Oh, Papa, go back, go back. We want to." I said, "Why do you want me to go back? So we can get that snake and put it in the pot."
No,
No, we're not going to bring a dead snake into this vehicle.
I would never get back in the car if they had.
Anyways.
He knows me well.
So that's a little bit about our experience. And when you have a fear, you submit it to God. You give it to God and you say, "Lord, help me with this." And you know what he does? He helps
takes
you
care
with
of
it.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he does.
He has shown me a lot of ways of keeping critters out of our house too. So I've learned a lot on this. But we've had some great positive things about animals. South Africa.
And we're
Wow.
going to show you some pictures and some videos of some things that we have seen that are in my mind, really
Beautiful.
cool.
Yeah.
Beautiful, wonderful. They're a
Amazing.
positive thing. Now, let me just caution you. You don't go to the mission field in order to see animals. Okay, that's just a bonus.
No.
But in the same way, you don't go to the mission field to see animals. At the same time, you shouldn't stay out of the mission field because there are scary animals.
They're scary.
Yeah, they're scary. So, do you understand that? This is just something that comes along, like the icing on the cake, or
Yeah.
maybe the fact that you have to wash the dish after you eat the cake. But whatever it is, there's positives and there's negatives.
Yeah.
And you enjoy the positives and you watch out for the negatives. And it's as simple as that.
So
Don't let it keep
enjoy
you off
the
the
next few minutes
Yeah.
of pleasant, fun, crazy animals.
Yeah.
So this was one of our amazing day trips in
Pilanesberg, South Africa. It's a national park, preserve, and there's no fences around the outside. These animals stay there of their own accord.
and it's a game drive
Yeah.
that we went on.
Went in an open Jeep and got to enjoy these animals up close and personal.
Unbelievable how many
Yeah.
we spotted.
See the baby. Now, apparently, whoever had gone through before us had agitated these elephants because they were not happy we were there.
No, they were not.
We're going to leave the sound up so you can hear that. Yeah, like that. And our guide said, they're not agitated. We better get out of here. And sure enough, as soon as we started going, some of them were running away from us, but some of them were running after us. And you can't see the ones running after us, but we sped up so that we stay safe.
Yeah, it was amazing. They were so close.
Yeah.
And then we saw really sweet little animals.
Yeah, venison. And here are
And the
some
cheetahs.
cheetahs, a long ways away, but, we didn't want to get close because cheetahs never prosper.
Oh,
And then there were these two guys duking it out. We came by, and they were going at it, and they weren't hurting each other, so we were just watching. And then we decided to go to lunch, and when we came back from lunch, an hour later, they were still going at it.
it's just a little rhino dance, and they go back and forth for territory. Then we
Ooh.
stopped at a watering hole,
And there was the alligator,
The crocodile.
Yeah.
and then the more fierce hippopotamus.
Yeah.
And if you look carefully, you can see a little 3-month-old hippo. Kind of cute.
Yeah.
They had some friends, though, that joined them that weren't quite so sweet.
Yeah, now this rhino, he had a little bit of an attitude going on. You can see this guy going out to get into the water because I think he knew what the rhino was going to do. But in just a minute, you're going to see the rhino gets a little bit closer, and the hippos are getting really, really nervous. And then you'll see that we go back out and check out the other rhino, but the rhino does a head fake, and look at how they get all nervous and run for the water.
Now, this guy had a real attitude, and he was just, he kept coming closer and closer to us. And we are in a totally open Jeep on this day trip. And I was really content to get out of there.
Yeah. He was pretty close. If he'd have wanted to get into that Jeep with us.
Yeah.
Ooh.
This is Kelly Love. She is our niece down in Brazil, and she has some amazing pictures of the critters and the birds and the animals that she has down in her country.
Some are beautiful.
Oh, very beautiful.
And then there were other missionaries that sent us pictures of some of their wildlife, and not so wildlife.
And flamingo if you want to go to Sardinia and help out. Now, chameleons don't bite, but a blue-headed tree agama lizard will bite.
Speaking of biting,
He didn't bite this caterpillar.
All right, hey, did you enjoy that?
We hope you did.
Listen, missions work isn't about the animals.
No.
It is about the call of God and going and ministering to God's people and helping people become God's people. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And when you give your life to God to do that, He's going to take care of everything
He does.
else. And no, missions work is not always easy, but it's always worth it.
Thanks for listening,
Help us broaden our outreach by liking and subscribing below.
and maybe even a share.
Thanks again, and may His best blessings be yours.
How many of you would have to admit that you've been afraid to go to the mission field because of the animals there, because of the snakes and things? All right, no hands, that's good. It's been about a year, I think, since we watched the last one of these videos, and we've looked at a lot of other things like food and culture and all those kinds of things. But if you have a phobia, if you have a fear, one of the things that we left off with one of the last ones was just what Brother Wright said on here. You can't allow that thing to keep you from going to the mission field if God calls you to do that. You have your good, you got your bad, wherever you are, whatever you do. And so you just have to go with the Lord's call. And any thoughts from what you've seen there on the video here tonight so far? Any thoughts to your minds? All right, well, the next video then is, it's on missionary partnership. And even before we get to that, you know, as a member of a church, you have probably noticed over the years the fact that we have a missions program here at the church, right? And you come into the auditorium and you have all of our missionaries on the back board back there, and we give regularly to missions as well. We have what's called Faith Promise Giving missions here at our church, and that's how we do our missions program, and we support missionaries all over the world as a result of that. But what you may not have thought of is some of the nuts and bolts, and what is the theology behind what we're doing here as a church. Well, the guy that they're going to be interviewing has thought a lot about that, because he actually wrote his dissertation on how do churches and missionaries work or partner together. Partnering is a word that you hear a lot, especially from our younger missionaries these days. You talk about the partnership between a church and the missionaries that they support. And he has some good things to say, and then I'll say some things here at the end as well. And he's got a book, his dissertation, I think, is eventually what became the book that he's going to be talking about here. So we'll go ahead and show this one next.
Hi, we're Jim and Myra Wright.
Welcome to Right Around the World.
Let's talk missions.
Hi, I'm Jim Wright, and this is my wife Myra. This is Right Around the World, and we have with us today via Zoom one of our favorite missionaries, missionary to Cameroon, West Africa, Ben Sinclair, also with Baptist World Missions. In any case, Ben, say hi.
Hello from Cameroon. We're here in Kribi, Cameroon. The family's around here. The kids are finishing up school, and yeah, I'm glad to be with you today.
Great. We have history with this gentleman. We got an email from him while we were still on deputation asking if we'd be willing to come to Cameroon. We thought, why not? We actually happened to be sitting in the home of some ex-African missionaries. And so we were excited about it, and we spent 8 months in the Bamenda area of Cameroon.
And usually he'll say 8 long months.
Yeah. In any case, just so that everyone understands, the Sinclairs are some of our heroes, not only because the fact that they're missionaries, but they're missionaries to Cameroon. And knowing what Cameroon is like, they keep going back.
That makes them our heroes.
Yeah. In any case, he's written a book that I think is essential for every pastor to read, every layman to read, certainly if you're on a missions committee. And it is very helpful for people who have a heart for missions to understand how the sausage is made. And so, in any case, I've asked Ben to come and to share some thoughts. So, Ben, first of all, give us a synopsis of your book.
Well, thank you again for allowing and sharing this time with you. The title of the book kind of gives the synopsis. It's called Missionary Partnership, a brief biblical theology of missions, deputation, and partnership. So the book begins with a longer chapter on missions. What is missions? I think one reason we struggle with how to send missionaries is there's a lot of confusion, a lot of misunderstanding about what missions and what the Bible is all about and what God is all about in his activity in the world today. And so that's basically what the first part of the book is, a little biblical theology of missions. And then deputation. There's a lot of confusion about deputation. Most people think of the word deputation, they think, well, that's something that the missionary does. But we actually, in the book, explain deputation is what local churches do. They are the ones that deputize missionaries to go out from them as deputies, if you will. And so there's some explanation about that. I hope that portion will be a great encouragement to missionaries, because again, there's a lot of confusion and a lot of misplaced pressure on missionaries and so forth. And then finally, of course, the title of the book and the conclusion and the applications, that is partnership. And I really want the book to be an encouragement to local churches and pastors to go beyond supporting missionaries, just supporting missionaries, to actually partnering in a genuine biblical partnership, as we see in the New Testament with Paul and his partnering churches. And so that's kind of the synopsis of the book.
Good. One of the things I really appreciated about your book is right off the bat, you started with the Bible and the biblical understanding, the biblical perspective, the biblical mandate. And it is, it wasn't based on opinion, and although you did a lot of research and surveys and everything, it started out with, this is the Bible. This is our job. And
through every book of the Bible too. That was
Yeah.
that was just wonderful to read.
It was thorough,
Really enjoyed that.
and we enjoyed that. So let me ask you, what is the primary takeaway that you'd like every pastor to get from this book?
Well, I believe that independent Baptists are extremely missions minded. I believe they're the most generous group of those sending missionaries perhaps in the history of the church. And so I am very much encouraged that independent Baptists are very missions minded. However, I really tried to encourage pastors in this book to ask themselves, are you missionary minded? Again, we are generous, we give, we send more missionaries than most groups and so forth, but the average church, I think in my surveys here, the average church supports 26 missionaries, and they have a little over 100 members. So it is extremely difficult to keep track of 26 missionaries. Many churches have more than that. Half the churches have more than that. And so it's difficult to know your missionaries, what they're doing, where they're at, their personal needs and burdens. And so my hope is that pastors will read the book, they'll be encouraged. Yes, we are missions minded, but I think we need to be a little bit more missionary minded, and we need to be partnering with missionaries to fulfill this great commission that God's given us.
Good deal. You mentioned the surveys, and I was very impressed with your bibliography, your research, but what I really was intrigued by was all of the surveys that you took and the response that you got back from the surveys. Just fill us in on that a little bit.
All right, so I took 3 national surveys of Independent Baptist mission boards, contacted about 40 mission boards. Then I sent out to thousands of Independent Baptist pastors across the country, in every state, including Hawaii and Alaska, every state pretty much. And then also hundreds of missionaries from different Independent Baptist mission boards. So basically the information ended up being representing about 1,500 independent Baptist missionaries, and also represented their 95,000 supporters. Most of them, of course, would be churches. So yeah, there's a huge reservoir of information. It's a good slice of what is, and again, I mentioned it a little bit earlier in the interview, but there are a lot of things out there that are just wrong, that float around in missions conferences and statistics. And I hope this will help. There were a few surprises to me, but not as many as some pastors have been. Like, I mean, one of the pastors that reviewed it early on was like, "Well, I just don't believe that one statistic." I'm like, well, sorry, that's the way it is. That's representing thousands of missionaries.
What do you think I am, CNN?
Hopefully, when pastors have questions or mission boards, they can go to this survey and be accurate and encouraging and challenging where we're lacking as well.
Yeah. I really enjoyed going to the appendix back there and going through all of those things that you found out and going.
I think those will be a great help for pastors that are doing missions conferences to show their people that they're really great resource.
Yeah, seriously, I would really recommend. I was kind of chiding Ben before we got this recording going about how the fact that he's not making any money on the sale of this book. That is such a Baptist move. Knock it off. I think he needs to make something. But in any case,
but God's going to bless him.
Yeah, we've
Anyhow,
already purchased a bunch of these to hand out to pastors, and I'm going to make them promise me that they read it before I give it to them, because it's still whatever it is. How much is it?
$5.60, I think. Yeah.
$5.60 on Amazon. Anyway, but. So I would really highly recommend that every child of God who has any interest, and by the way, you ought to have interest in missions, get this book, read it. And one of the things I really appreciated about it was that it went from the biblical mandate to the practical application. Okay, this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is what we're doing. How can we do this better? And without condemning what we're already doing, he says, how can we do this better? And then he comes up with a plan that is practical, a plan that we all know, pastors, we know that we ought to be supporting fewer missionaries for more money. We know that, but how do we get there? And one of the things I appreciate about the book is he gives several ideas for how we can move in that direction without sacrificing our existing missionaries. How can we do that? And so I really appreciate it. I think this book needs to be not only gotten, but read and digested and implemented by pastors in churches around the states.
So the big question, how can they get your book? Where do they go?
Well, I appreciate that. Amazon.com is the only place you can get the book. So you can get it in Kindle format. You can get it in the paperback. You can do a search for the title Missionary Partnership, or you can do a search for my name. Actually, if you do Missionary Partnership, you'll get a bunch of sponsored books that are advertised. So if you just type in Ben Sinclair, I think there are 4 books that pop up, three that we've published online, and then 1 in Spanish. And so you can look at any of those, and that Ben Sinclair, Amazon.com.
Great.
Good deal.
Great.
Good deal. All right. Well, our time is almost gone.
One more plug.
Yeah. Go ahead.
They also have a family CD.
Oh, that's right.
It'd
We
be
really enjoy that.
Great for Christmas.
Yes.
Really would.
Yes.
That is coming up.
Where?
Just here.
Very good.
Faith in Jesus is the CD, and our family here, the Sinclair family.
All but the puppy dog.
Yeah. How do they get that?
You can go to our website and let us know about that. Cameroon for Christ, not FOR, but the number 4, CameroonForChrist.com.
Okay.
And there's some instruction there on how to get a CD. So you get that through our local church, but just go to CameroonForChrist.com and it'll give you some instruction. Yeah,
good.
Appreciate
And
it.
we'll have all that information down below.
Yeah, we'll see if we can't get a link to those things. Put them down below.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, hey, we love you guys. We are some of your biggest fans, and whenever we see a church has your prayer card up, we say, ooh, missions dollars well spent here. And so, in any case, we love you guys, and pass our hi along to Pastor Eugene, and and stay away from that malaria stuff.
There you go.
Man, you went right.
Thank you very much. I do believe you are right up there with our #1 fans, so we do appreciate your encouragement and prayers.
We bear that banner well.
Yeah. I hope it will be a blessing to a lot of churches.
All right. Very good. Hey, we love you guys. We'll talk to you later. Thanks so much. And we will see you later.
Thanks for listening.
Help us broaden our outreach by liking and subscribing below.
And maybe even a share.
Thanks again, and may His best blessings be yours.
All right, a little different video here this evening. A little bit of a commercial there for that book, obviously, too, and their CD that they've done. I'll just say this, too. Brother Wright mentioned the fact that he was giving those books out to pastors, and he did, in fact, give Pastor a copy, and then Pastor got another copy from, I'm not really sure where, actually. So I do have a copy. If someone wants to talk to me after the service and you'd like to read that, I would very much love to pass that on to anybody who is very interested in doing so. Otherwise, you saw exactly how to get it. It is on Amazon. I looked it up myself too, and you can go there and get that very, very easily. Maybe for the kids, here's a question tonight. Did you notice what country the Sinclairs are serving in? Any of our kids notice that here tonight? What country were they serving in? Anybody paying attention to that part? Yes, that's exactly right, Cameroon. And do we know anybody else who's serving in Cameroon right now? Does anybody know one of our missionaries that is serving there? Yes, that's right, the Sanderlands. I think the Sanderlands, from what it looked like on the map, they're probably on the other side of the country, though. They're on the French-speaking side now. And I don't know when this was recorded. I don't know if this was before the Civil War started in the country and that kind of thing, but they are in the same area as one of our favorites. Yes, Keith? Okay. Okay. Of Baptist Missions? Baptist World. Okay. Well, good to know. That's good. So they've come off the field. Dr. Sinclair, I guess, so that makes sense. Any thoughts from our video here tonight? We do a missions program here as a church. We try to make that a priority. We try to put this up in front of ourselves so that we're thinking of our missionaries, so that we're promoting them, we're promoting their work. That's part of what we're doing on our week 1 Sunday evening missions service that we have together. But any other thoughts on what we saw here tonight? Yeah, Keith.
With the first video, I appreciate how they started that out, showing some of the dangerous animals that are actually right here in the United States.
Yes.
Just to help us realize there's dangers here, just like there's dangers in other countries.
Yes, absolutely. All right, anything else from these videos tonight? All right, if not, we have some good time to pray. We have our 3 special requests that I just want to mention to you in the middle of our prayer sheets. As we've already mentioned, Aaron and Rachel Houts are our missionary of the week this week, and so we do want to praise the Lord that they have now raised 100% of their support. They're in the process of moving to Alaska, and so we want to especially be praying for God's wisdom as they're getting settled in, purchasing property, and then beginning working with their missionary team in Iliamna. That's always something to think about, too. When you've got a group of missionaries together, you want them to gel together. You want them to work well together. Otherwise, they go to the field, and it could be a very short time together. They say that one of the big things that leads to missionaries leaving the field, which there's a million circumstances, but one of the big things sometimes is just not working well together. So let's just pray that that is not the case for the Houses in their new place. Joey and Jenny Tacken, please pray for them as they're home on furlough through October 16th. Be praying for safe travels and good times with family and their supporting churches. And I have on here, pray for the Tacken's daughter. I wrote this a little over a week ago as she was expecting the Tacken's first grandchild on September 21st. Well, on the back table, we have the update to that. They have a picture of their brand new first grandbaby. So we're thankful for that. Now another one, you may not have heard this if you're not in prayer meeting on Wednesday nights. Do be praying for the AIBCI, that's our Association of Independent Baptist Churches of Illinois. Be praying for us as we vote on supporting a new church planter at our annual meeting in November. Here's their names. Taylor and Lindsay Cranfield are preparing to plant a church in the Chicago area, and they're now at 55% of their needed support. If the vote at the annual meeting is affirmative, the AIBCI will then support them for $3,000 per month, and that will bring them up to around 85% of their support. There's going to be a 6-year window to that, and then after that point it would begin decreasing after that 6-point year. And so we just need to be praying for the Lord's direction, pray for unity for our churches as we're considering them to be our next church planters for the AIBCI. And I should just say, too, we haven't had one officially for, I think, like 2 or 3 years now. So the Barbers, they were off, and now they're self-supporting, and so we're thankful for that. But we have been looking very hard, and the Cranfields are working really hard to get to the field, too. They are at a very, very expensive area that they're going to. That area of Chicago, they need like $10,000 worth of support per month in order to be able to live there, in order to have a house, and that kind of thing. So we just need to be praying about that. All right. Any other missions requests we should be thinking of tonight before we go to prayer? Yes. Okay. Okay. All right, so pray for Madeline, post-baby depression there. All right, any others? Yes, Stephanie.
Tomorrow, and she's going to be recruiting Tuesday, Wednesday at Faith in Ankeny, and then she's going to be flying out to Wolf Mountain Camp in California to speak at a ladies' retreat, and then back to get her vehicle, and then headed back to Ironwood for the winter. So.
And then if you don't know who Carol Bond is, she's been here at church a couple times. She's been acting director, is that what her title is?
Director of the Family of Camps.
Director of the Family of Camps, okay. So, but she's been out at Assurance quite a bit here over this last year, and filling in lots of different places and different roles there. So we've been so thankful to have her. She's just got a sweet spirit too. Very thankful for that. So pray for that recruiting trip, and then while she's away from us here for the winter. All right, anything else here before we go to prayer? Okay, then let's go ahead and break up in groups of 2s and 3s, and then we'll come back together at the end and we'll sing a song together to close. And let's go ahead and we'll turn in our hymnals tonight to a closing hymn. We're going to go ahead and turn to number 234. Sing them over again to me, wonderful words of life. Number 234, let's go ahead and let's stand as we sing. Sing them over again to me, wonderful words of life. Let me more of their beauty see, wonderful words of life. Words of life and beauty, teach me faith and duty. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Christ the Blessed One gives to all wonderful words of life. Sinnerless to the loving call, wonderful words of life. Also freely given, moving us to heaven. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Sweetly echo the gospel call, wonderful words of life. Offer pardon and peace to all, wonderful words of life. Jesus, only Savior, sanctify forever. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Okay, I do want to just remind our church board members of our meeting right after the service here tonight. And then don't forget, ladies, your time on Tuesday night as you have your Christmas fellowship. And then on Friday night, Anchor Bible as well. Look forward to that time together with not just the Anchor Bible group, but hopefully some other of our adult folks here as well this month. Well, let's go ahead and close in prayer. Brother Keith Augustus, would you close us?
Lord, we do thank you for a wonderful evening you've given to us. We thank you for the time to come together and have this fellowship and singing hymns to your name. We're thankful for these videos as the rights have produced and for how you're using them. May you work in our hearts. Help us to be open, receptive to how the Holy Spirit's working in our lives, and help us, Lord, to be used by you in our own neighborhoods and communities, that we can see souls saved and drawn closer to you. Bless as we go throughout this week now. Help us to always keep our focus on you. We ask in Jesus' name.